Hey, I'm so glad to see you again. Welcome back to this week's episode of Closed by Mo. My name is Mohammed, or you can call me Mo. I'm hopefully your favorite YouTube host on most things real estate. I'm also a real estate investor and a broker based out of New York. This week's episode is going to be really special because we're actually going to dive deeper into a publicly listed and available property, a multifamily property in Queens, New York, where I spent a lot of my time growing up. We're going to dice into the numbers a little bit more, and we're going to finally find out exactly why house hacking isn't necessarily fruitful for the first few years. But enough talking, let's jump right into this house hacking opportunity and case study. Now, the property is a legal two-family home, should I say, that's located in Queens. I'm going to put the screenshots here, but bear with me because I'm looking at the screen at the same time that I'm trying to give you the information. It's a legal two-family property that has 2 units in it and a finished basement. Now, just for the purpose of this exercise, for this case study, I'm not going to be counting the potential rental income of the basement because technically, legally, you cannot rent out the basement in New York City. Doesn't mean people don't do it. Obviously, a lot of people do it, especially as the property is also marketed as something that is potentially rentable for the basement because it's marketed as having an outside entrance, as well as the fact that it's fully finished and that the basement also has a bathroom in there too. Now, the property itself is listed for $928,000. A couple of the assumptions that I made in this model is that we were purchasing it with 20% financing, that we were purchasing it with the asking price, that we had absolutely no cost overrun in terms of no rehabbing or any kind of upgrading or remodeling needed for the property, which is very rare. The fact that we had a 5% vacancy rate, that the property appreciates around 6% every year, and that the income also increases around 6% every year. However, the expenses we assumed increase about 3% every year, and that the selling costs were also about 6 to 7%. A couple other things that we also assumed were the fact that the rental amount for each unit, so each 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, was set at around $2,500. Now, this is something that, you may agree or disagree with me on. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom in Queens, generally around that $2,000 to $2,500, maybe sometimes a little bit higher depending on how it's finished. So I sort of picked the conservative number of $2,500, which might be a little bit higher than what the area comps might show, but there were also comps that went up for a lot higher just because the apartments were a lot nicer finished, should I say. Now let's jump into the numbers. Now, let's say, for example, going back to what we had mentioned, if you were to come out with 25% down, which is the standard amount here at the interest rate where it's at right now, I took a conservative number of about 7%, assuming you have great credit and the way the rates are right now. Your monthly loan payment would be almost $5,000 a month. I'll put the screenshots here so you guys can see it. So every single year, you're going to be out almost $60,000 just for the principal and the interest payment. Now, if you were to take a look at the overall cash flow, there you'd see 4 different columns. It's numbered from year 1, year 3, year 5, and year 10, as along with the other sheets that I'll share with you here. You can see that the first couple of years, you're actually going to be losing money, which is case in point to what I tell all my clients every single time they come and talk to me about wanting to house hack. If you're looking for cash flow, this is not the market for you. However, if you're looking for a market where you can, place your money, you can have it build equity, the property appreciates, and then of course, eventually the rental appreciation will catch up with your fixed monthly mortgage and interest payment, then that might make more sense for you. But if you're looking for cash flow, this is not it for you. Case in point, if you were to look at the first year, so in year 1 all the way to year 5, you'll see that you're actually negative in cash flow year over year. As a matter of fact, if you were to even keep increasing your operating income, which is basically your gross rental revenue minus the vacancy rate of 5%, you'd see that although it's increasing steadily, of course your operating expenses are also increasing, and your operating expenses will include things like taxes, insurance. I've taken a $0 property management fee, assuming you're managing it yourself. You'll have your regular maintenance and your CapEx as well. Now, you'll see that the first 5 years, you're going to be in the red or with a negative cash flow. However, I want to point your attention to where we're looking at in terms of the overall tax benefits and the sale approach. I tell all my clients, typically, if you want to make sure that you're making a lot of money with your investment, especially if it's your first or second investment, you want to be able to at least hold it for a minimum of maybe 5 years, sometimes a little bit less depending on what price you get it at. But typically I'll advise my clients to, if you do plan on selling it, sell it with at minimum 5 to 7 years, because that's where you'll make most of your money. And you can see that here in the chart as well. Of course, the same 4 columns, year 1, year 3, year 5, and year 10. you'll be able to see that with the amount of equity that you'll have minus your selling costs, by year 5 to 10 is when you'll actually start to turn a profit. And that's what most people should go into with investing in New York City, especially if you're looking at house hack, because that's where you'll be able to finally make the returns that you're wanting to make. Now, this model, this assumption that we're having right now, it also assumes that you're not living in the property, that you're renting out both units, and that you're not paying anything for management fees. You can also take a look at the tax benefits and deductions. This is where I think will also be a big plus, especially for people that are working a day job that might have a W-2 and they need to find a way to reduce their tax burden overall. You'll see that your total tax deductions, which includes your depreciation, your loan interest, and your overall operating expenses from running the property, total out to be around almost 6 figures. I'm not a tax professional by any account, so obviously make sure you sit down with your accountant or your CPA before doing anything, but I wanted you guys to have a full picture, or at least a very quick case study as to what it's like to think about investing or house hacking in New York City, because I keep telling people, hey, this is not a cash flow market. If you're looking for cash flow, you need to look elsewhere. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video because I had a lot of fun making it. If you want to see more videos like this, or if you have properties that you're like, hey, you know what, I think I might want to run some numbers on it, drop it in the comment section below and we'll take a look at it. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you next week.